Welcome to you once again in the Department of English, and you are going to know about the uses of tenses. In this video, you are going to know about the uses of past perfect tense. Now friends, before studying past perfect tense, we must know the difference between simple past tense and past perfect tense. And for it, the topic is prescribed at F.Y.B.A. compulsory English. Now here you have the two examples explains the difference between the uses of simple past tense and past perfect tense. Now see the first example. I am going to read it for you. When I arrived at the office. When I arrived at the office yesterday, the meeting began. Now, here in this sentence, we have two clauses. Number one is when I arrived at the office yesterday. This is one clause, and the meeting began is the second clause. So, both these clauses here expresses simple past tense. While in the second sentence, when I arrived at the office yesterday, the meeting had begun. Whatever the sentence written in a green letter, you see there is a clear-cut difference. Now, here again in this sentence, the first clause describes simple past tense, while the second clause describes past perfect tense. It means when I arrived at the office yesterday, this is first clause which express simple past tense. And when the meeting had begun. Now here, had is added, and the past participle of the main verb, that is begin, begun. So here in these two sentences, you'll clearly note the difference. And what is the difference? That means when I say, when I arrived at the office yesterday, the meeting began. That means there are two actions and they took place simultaneously. What is simultaneously? At the same time. But in the second sentence, when I say, when I arrived at the office yesterday, the meeting had begun. Here again, the two verbs are used in the two clauses. But here, the main difference is that one action takes place before and the other action takes place later. So this is the difference between simple past tense and past perfect tense. Here again, when we see the structure of past perfect tense, we'll study it at the end of this video. It is very simple one. Yes plus had plus past participle. But I'll write it on blackboard later on. You have to remember it. Now see, when we see the uses of past perfect tense, you will notice that when we want to show some point of time in the past, we have to use past perfect tense. For example, at 9 o'clock, the plane had left. At 9 o'clock, the plane had left. See, here had is used and left, the past participle of the verb is used. Here the sentence expresses the point of time in the past. While in the second sentence, when I say, I had met my friend yesterday. So this word yesterday indicates that it is past tense. And here had, use of had as an auxiliary verb, and met, the third or past participle of the main verb, describes that this is past perfect tense. So when we want to show the point of action of some event took place in a past, we have to use this tense, that is past perfect tense. In the second, when we want to show the two actions, one takes place earlier and one takes place later, we have to use this tense. Now, before it, when we study these two examples, or when we read these two examples, I am going to read it for you. When we use past perfect, when we want to show the earlier action, the latter action, usually we have to use simple past tense. Now see, father had made himself a sandwich by the time I cooked lunch. Again here we have the two clauses are used. Father had made himself a sandwich. This is one clause. And I cooked lunch. This is the second one. The first part of this sentence is in a past perfect tense, while the second half of the sentence describes simple past tense. That is, the which action takes here first, that which action or event takes place earlier or first, we have to use past perfect tense. That is, father had made himself sandwich. This action takes place first. By the time I cooked lunch. So the latter action is described by simple past tense. Or the children had slept by the time I cooked lunch. Here again this sentence also contains simple past tense and past perfect tense. Simple past tense is used to show the action takes place later, while the past perfect tense is used to show which action takes place earlier. Now, when we describe the two actions, sometime we have to use the adverbs. That these adverbs like before and after, we can use these adverbs. So here again we have the examples. When I say that he had locked the front door, okay, he had locked the front door before he went to bed. Or the same sentence can be said, he went to bed after he had locked the front door. As far as the meaning of this sentence is concerned, it is used that past perfect tense is used to tell the which action takes place earlier. That is, past perfect tense is used to show that the action takes place earlier, while the second half, or we can say simple past tense, describes that the actions takes place later on. In the second example, he went to bed after he had That means here the adverbs before and after clear cut describes that there are two actions are happened which takes place first and which takes place later on. Then one thing should be remember here, that here in this clause, in this sentence, we have two clauses and there are two verbs. One verb describes simple past tense while the other verb describes the past perfect tense. Simple past tense, the verb denotes simple past tense, describes the latter action, while the verb given in past perfect tense, that is had plus the past participle of the verb, denotes that the action takes place before or the event takes place earlier, we can say. When the sequence of events in the past, we are referring, as earlier I said, that we can use the adverbs like before or after. Then while studying this tense, certain things we have to remember, that is the past perfect tense cannot be used. So we have to remember this past perfect tense cannot be used to refer one action or one event takes place in the past. For example, it is wrong to say I had met my friend yesterday. So this is wrong use of tense. Instead of it, you have to say I met my friend yesterday, because here one action or one event takes place in the past, and that is I met my friend yesterday. So my friend, do not commit such a mistake. In short, we can say past perfect tense, generally I say, generally used to denotes the when the two actions takes place. I hope you understand the uses of past perfect tense. So far as the pattern of this tense is concerned, first you have to take yes, and this yes stands for the subject of the sentence, that who is going to make the action. Then we have the past tense of have, the auxiliary verb, that is primary auxiliary. In the last video we have seen that the auxiliary verbs are of two types, primary auxiliaries and modal auxiliaries. There are three primary auxiliaries: to be, to have and to do. Here we are concerned in the continuous tense or progressive tense. We have to take the help of the forms of to be, while in the perfect tense it may be present tense or it may be the past tense. In the present tense, the forms of to be, we have we can say two auxiliary verbs are generally used, that is have and has. And has is used only before third person singular or when the subject is name of the person, place or action. It is singular especially. Otherwise, we have to use have. But in past tense, we have to take the help of had. So, in short, we can say whatever the subject may be, the subject may be first person singular, first person plural, that is I and we, you and you, he, she, it, third person singular, and they, that is third person plural, or name of the person, place, thing, etc. The subject may be singular, may be plural. Okay, so only we have to take the help of had, and then plus. That is, what is this plus? That is past participle of the main verb. So this is the structure or formula of present perfect tense. I hope you like this video. Make the practice in your day-to-day life and you will notice the difference between simple past tense and past perfect tense. Thank you once again to spare time with me.